Every living thing has a beginning and an end, from the smallest insect to the tallest tree, from a goldfish in your living room to a whale in the deep ocean. Every organism eventually dies. For humans, this truth is harder to accept because we are the only species that knows death is coming. We dream of immortality, we write myths about gods who never die, and today, billionaires are pouring billions into biotechnology to try to live forever. And yet, despite all these dreams and efforts, there seems to be a wall in front of us. No one, not kings, not saints, not scientists, not even the wealthiest people alive, has ever lived beyond 122 years. It is as if the human body contains a secret countdown timer that shuts us down no matter how well we live. But is this wall real? Is there truly a maximum human lifespan written into our biology? To answer that, we need to go deep, into history, into cells, into genetics, into the oldest people ever recorded, and into the most advanced scientific experiments happening right now. If you ask scientists what the maximum human lifespan is, they almost always point to one woman, Jeanne Calment. She was born in Arles, France in 1875. She met Vincent van Gogh as a child, lived through both world wars, saw the rise of airplanes, computers, and the internet, and finally passed away in 1997 at the age of 122 years and 164 days. She is still, to this day, the oldest human being ever verified with official documents. What's remarkable is not just that she lived so long, it's that no one else has ever broken her record. As of 2025, the second oldest verified person, Kane Tanaka of Japan, died in 2022 at age 119. The third oldest, Jiro Emon Kimura, reached 116. Worldwide, only a handful of people are alive at any given moment past the age of 115. If humans were capable of reaching 130 or 140 with any regularity, we would have seen at least one verified case among billions of lives. But we haven't. The plateau at around 115-122 years is one of the strongest signs that the human body has a built-in upper boundary. To understand why humans don't live longer, we need to look inside our bodies at the cellular level. In 1961, a scientist named Leonard Hayflick made a groundbreaking discovery. He showed that human cells grown in a dish can only divide a certain number of times, about 40 to 60 divisions, before they stop. This is now called the Hayflick limit. Why does this happen? At the ends of our chromosomes are structures called telomeres. Think of them as the plastic tips on the ends of shoelaces, preventing the shoelace from fraying. Every time a cell divides, the telomeres get shorter. Eventually they become so short that the cell can no longer divide safely, and it either stops working or self-destructs. This process is called cellular senescence. A large-scale 2022 study in Nature Communications analyzed the telomere lengths of over 70,000 people. The researchers found that people with shorter telomeres had a much higher risk of death, even after accounting for lifestyle factors. This shows that telomeres are not just a curiosity, they are a biological timer ticking inside every one of us. Some cells, like stem cells, produce an enzyme called telomerase that can rebuild telomeres, but most of our body's cells do not. Cancer cells cheat by turning telomerase back on, which is one reason they can grow uncontrollably. But for normal, healthy humans, telomere shortening is a built-in mechanism that eventually limits how long our tissues can keep renewing themselves. Even if telomeres weren't a problem, there's another force pulling us toward death: molecular damage. Throughout life, our cells are constantly attacked. Oxygen, which we need to breathe, produces free radicals, unstable molecules that damage DNA and proteins. Our DNA copying machines make tiny mistakes every time a cell divides. Ultraviolet light from the sun breaks bonds in skin cells. Toxins from food, pollution, and even our own metabolism all leave scars inside our tissues. When we are young, our bodies are excellent at repairing this damage. Enzymes fix DNA, the immune system clears defective cells, and proteins are recycled. But as we age, these systems grow weaker. Damage accumulates like rust on a car. Concrete evidence comes from a 2020 study in Nature, which examined stem cells from people over 110 years old. More than half of their bone marrow stem cells carried genetic mutations that reduced their ability to regenerate blood. Another 2021 paper in Science looked at mitochondria, the power plants of cells, in the muscles of supercentenarians. By age 115, the majority of their mitochondria were defective, producing less energy and leaking toxic byproducts. This is why people beyond 100 often experience frailty, fatigue, and cognitive decline, even if they avoid major diseases. The body simply cannot keep up with the snowballing accumulation of cellular errors. It's like a library where every year, more and more pages are missing from the books. Eventually, the knowledge is too fragmented for the library to function. If damage is universal, why do some people still reach 110 or more? The answer lies partly in genetics. Research shows that 20–30% of human lifespan is inherited. Certain families produce centenarians generation after generation. Scientists have identified genetic variants that seem to give people extra resilience against aging. One of the most famous is FOXO3A, a gene involved in stress resistance and cellular repair. A 2019 study in Nature Metabolism found that people with certain FOXO3A variants were much more likely to live past 100. Another important gene is APA2, which protects against Alzheimer's and heart disease. Genome-wide studies in 2021 found that centenarians often carry unique combinations of variants related to DNA repair, lipid metabolism, and inflammation control. However, even with the best genetic hand, no one has gone beyond 122. This suggests that while genes can push people close to the boundary, they cannot erase it. They are like better dice in the game of life, giving you higher odds of reaching old age, but the game still ends the same way. If genes are the cards you're dealt, lifestyle is how you play them. Some parts of the world, known as blue zones, produce unusually high numbers of people who live past 90 and 100. These include Okinawa in Japan, Sardinia in Italy, Ikaria in Greece, Nicoya in Costa Rica, and the Seventh-day Adventist community of Loma Linda in California. What do these groups have in common? They eat mostly plant-based diets rich in vegetables, legumes, and whole grains. They walk or farm daily rather than sitting for hours. They live in tight-knit communities with strong family bonds and low levels of chronic stress. They rarely overeat, often following cultural habits of moderate caloric intake. A 2022 report in The Lancet Healthy Longevity found that lifestyle choices could extend healthy years by up to 15–20. For example, non-smokers with balanced diets and regular exercise lived an average of a decade longer than those with poor lifestyles. But here's the catch. Even in blue zones, the maximum observed lifespan rarely goes beyond 115. The ceiling is the same everywhere. Lifestyle helps you approach the wall, but it doesn't help you climb over it. One of the most fascinating discoveries about aging came from large statistical studies of supercentenarians. Normally, the risk of death doubles roughly every 7–8 years. But in a 2018 science study of Italian citizens, researchers found something surprising. After age 105, the risk of death stops increasing. It plateaus at about a 50% chance of dying per year. In other words, reaching 110 means every birthday is essentially a coin flip. This has been confirmed by other studies, including a 2020 analysis in Demographic Research and a 2021 report in Royal Society Open Science. The conclusion is consistent. Human mortality risk flattens after 110, but the odds are still so high that very few people survive beyond 115–122. Statistically, it's like playing Russian roulette every year past 110. This is why Jeanne Calment remains such an extreme outlier. The big question is whether science can push us beyond 122. Researchers are working on it, and the results are both exciting and sobering. Senolytics. These are drugs designed to clear out senescent cells, old cells that no longer divide but pump out toxic signals. In mice, senolytics like dasatinib plus quercetin extended lifespan by up to 30%. A 2023 clinical trial at the Mayo Clinic showed reduced inflammation in older adults, though no lifespan data yet. Rapamycin. Originally an antifungal compound, rapamycin blocks the mTOR pathway which regulates growth and metabolism. In nearly every lab animal tested from yeast to mice, rapamycin extends lifespan. The Dog Aging Project in 2024 reported that rapamycin improved heart health in dogs, raising hopes it could do the same for humans. Telomerase therapy. In 2012, Spanish scientists extended mouse lifespans by 40% using telomerase gene therapy. But in humans, telomerase carries risks because it can also fuel cancer. Cellular reprogramming. The boldest approach uses the Yamanaka factors, a set of 4 genes that can reset cells to a younger state. A 2020 Nature study restored vision in blind, aged mice by reprogramming their eye cells. In 2022, labs like Altos Labs began exploring how to safely apply this to humans. Early results suggest it may rejuvenate cells without causing tumors, but this is still experimental. As of 2025, no treatment has allowed a human to surpass 122. The wall still holds, though cracks may be appearing. Even if science finds a way to push beyond 122, a deeper question remains, should we? If people lived 200 years, what would happen to society? Would younger generations be locked out of opportunities? Would only the wealthy afford these treatments? And what would life feel like if it stretched on for centuries? A 2023 Pew Research survey asked Americans if they would want to live past 120. Only 38% said yes. Most people preferred a long, healthy life, but not endless life. Psychologists warn of the burden of extended boredom and grief as everyone you love eventually dies. Bioethicists argue that focusing on health span, living disease-free to 90 or 100, is more important than chasing immortality. For now, extending healthy years for billions may be more urgent than chasing eternity for a few. When you put all the evidence together, the message is clear. Jeanne Calment's 122-year record, the Hayflick limit, telomere shortening, accumulated molecular damage, the genetic ceiling, lifestyle data from blue zones, and the mortality plateau beyond 110, all point to the same truth. The maximum human lifespan today is around 115–122 years. Medicine has doubled our average lifespan, but no one has pushed the boundary further in over a century. The wall is real, and yet the story is not hopeless. The last 200 years show we can dramatically improve how long and how well we live. The real miracle may not be immortality, but the fact that billions of people now reach ages that were once unthinkable. The wall may stand, but we are climbing higher than ever before. And who knows? Perhaps the children born today, with gene therapies, senolytics, and reprogramming technologies, will be the ones to touch 125 or even 130. For now though, the wall of human life is solid, and it is written in our cells. So, how long can humans live? The strongest evidence suggests a hard ceiling between 115 and 122 years. No one has broken it. The wall of lifespan may feel terrifying, but it also makes every year precious. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the science of aging and mortality. If this journey fascinated you, please like the video, subscribe to Beyond X, and ring the notification bell so you never miss our next exploration of the mysteries of science, life, and the universe. Together, we will keep chasing the ultimate questions and facing the answers, no matter how inspiring or unsettling they may be.